Hey guys, I'm going to be reading chapter 5 of Junie B. Jones' Dumb Bunny. It is called The Jelly Bean Game. Lucille's daddy clapped his loud hands together. Boys, girls, please find a seat at one of the picnic tables. Lunch will be served shortly, he called. I waited to see where Sheldon was going to sit. May waited too, because both of us had to keep track of that guy, of course. Only too bad for me, because as soon as Sheldon picked a table, Lucille sat down next to him, and varoom! May slid in on his other side, and I got shut out. Wait, hold on, no fair, I said. Then I quick tried to squeeze myself between May and Sheldon, but May would not budge herself. Well, I did a grr face at her. May hissed like a snake. I stood there very puzzled. I do not actually have a comeback for a hiss. Finally, I went to the other side of the table and I sat down across from them. That dumb May, I grumped, just to myself. She keeps getting one step ahead of me today. Plus, Sheldon is also one step ahead of me too. I looked across the table. Lucille was whispering to Sheldon very secret. Well, May leaned her head over too, and she listened through Sheldon's other ear. Whispers can come right through Sheldon's head, apparently. I put my chin in my hands. I don't stand a chance in this dumb egg hunt, I said to Herb. He gave me a little pat. Only sometimes a little pat is all a friend can do, but only guess what? Just then, something very nice happened. And it's called Lucille's Nana walked over to where I was sitting, and she sat in a chair at the end of my table. Well, I jumped up real thrilled. Hey, Nana, look, it's me, it's Junie B. Jones, and you're sitting right exactly next to me, I shouted. Well, that Nana glanced her eyes at Lucille's mother and daddy. Yes, I know, dear. I lost the coin toss, she said, kind of annoyed. Well, I sat back down and I started tickling her arm. This reminds me of when we ate dinner together last year, I said. That was very fun, except I accidentally broke your crystal glass. Do you remember that, Nana? Huh? Do you? The Nana nodded. Oh, yes, I remember, she said. I thought back. Plus, I accidentally busted your feather pillow, and I'm not mistaken. I think I might have spilled beanie weenies on your expensive linen tablecloth, I said. Well, the Nana looked at me. You are not mistaken, she said back. I smiled and I patted her hand. Those were some good times, Nana, real soft. May heard me talking. Well, Lucille and I are going to have good times too, right, Lucille? Because when I come to swim in your pool, that will really be good times. Sheldon looked at her and grinned. Don't count your chickens before they're hashed, May, he said. Well, the Nana did a little chuckle. I think you mean hatched, dear. It's don't count your chickens before they're hatched, not hashed. Sheldon raised his eyebrows. Really? Are you sure? Because at our house, my Aunt Bunny brings chicken hash for dinner every Sunday, he said. Chicken hash is her specialty. He smiled real proud. Aunt Bunny was a chef in prison, he said. That Nana's face went a little funny. She lowered her head to the table and she rested her cheek on her napkin. I leaned my face down next to her. Speaking of bunnies, Lucille said the Easter Bunny would be here today. Only I haven't actually seen him yet. And so, where is he anyway, Nana? I asked. Well, Lucille did a huff at me. Nosy Junie B. Jones, why did you have to ask that question, she said. My Nana does not want to talk about that. Do you, Nana? You made a teensy little mistake about the bunny and you don't want anyone to know about how you almost ruined my party. Well, the Nana did a groan. Lucille kept on talking. My Nana was in charge of hiring the Easter Bunny, only instead of hiring the real Easter Bunny, she hired a cheap, fake Easter Bunny. Right, Nana? Then Nana did not say anything. And then Lucille went on. The fake bunny came to our house to get his pay yesterday, only his fur was real matty and the top of his ear was chewed off, but he told my Nana that he freshened up very nicely, and so Nana gave him cash money in advance, and then he hopped out the front door and he never came back. Well, that Nana raised her hand. Thank you, Lucille, she said. Thank you for sharing that with everyone. You're welcome, Nana, said Lucille. Very pleasant. You are so welcome. The Nana rolled her eyes. Lucille obviously does not understand sarcastic, I believe. Just then, Lucille's daddy stood up at his picnic table and he said it was time to get the show on the road. He held up a silver bell and he rang it in the air. Ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling. Then, boom! Waiters started bringing food from all over the place, and it was the deliciousest food I ever saw. There were barbecued hamburgers and tasty hot dogs and crispy chicken fingers and crunchy salad and yummy potato chips and Swedish kind of pickles. Plus there was even delicious devilish eggs. Whoa, I said, what a spread. I stuffed a devilish egg in my mouth, and also I stuffed in a pickle and some chips and a giant chicken finger. I didn't stop stuffing for a real long time. Then finally I leaned back and I rubbed my big fat tummy. Woo! I'm about to bust a gusset, I said. Are you, Nana, huh? Are you about to bust a gusset too? Well, the Nana frowned her eyebrows at me. Ladies don't bust gussets, she said. I was surprised to hear that information. Really, I said? Then what do ladies bust? Roger raised his hand. At our house, we bust our guts, he said. Herb smiled. At our house, we bust our buttons, he said. Then Sheldon stood up. Well, at our house, we just unzip our pants, he said, except for not Nana. Then finally, all of us got finished eating, and then the waiters took our plates away. Then wowie, wow, wow, Lucille's daddy brought out the most beautiful box I ever saw, and it was wrapped in shiny yellow paper with twirly curly ribbons. He held it way high in the air so all of us could see it. Whoa, whose birthday is it? I shouted, real excited. Lucille jumped up and giggled. That's not a birthday present, Junie B. It's a game prize, she said. Before we hunt for eggs, we're going to play a very fun game. Whoever wins the prize will get the thrill of a lifetime. Right, Daddy? Well, the daddy smiled. We certainly hope the winner will be thrilled, he said. It's a pretty good prize, we think. Just then, he put down the box and he pulled a big jar of jelly beans out of the paper bag. This game is called the jelly bean game, he said. Can everyone see all the jelly beans in the jar? We've got lots and lots of colors, don't we? We've got reds, yellows, blues, and blacks, and greens, and oranges, and whites. He stopped and held up his finger. But, he said, in this whole big jar of jelly beans, there's just one purple jelly bean. All of us made a hushy sound. Ooh, we said together. Just one purple one? The daddy smiled. Then he put the jar back in the bag so we couldn't see the colors anymore. Okay, I'm going to walk around to each picnic table and each of you will have a chance to reach in the jar and pull out a jelly bean, he said. But remember, you can only pull out one. Okay, we hollered. Okay. Lucille hurried over and held up the beautiful box. And remember this too, the first person to pull out the purple jelly bean will get this prize, she said, the thrill of a lifetime. All of us just clapped and clapped. Then we bounced and giggled and wiggled and clapped and we waited for the jelly bean jar to come to us. It was the most nervousest wait of my life, I think, because what if somebody got the purple jelly bean before I even got my turn? That would ruin my whole entire chance. I put my hands in front of my eyes and I peeked through my fingers and I watched the children pick. Roger's table went first. He picked a red bean. Then Camille picked an orange bean, and Chenille picked a green bean, and Shirley picked a blue one, and my table come next. My heart beat faster. Then Jose picked a yellow bean, Lenny picked a white bean, and May picked another white bean, and Sheldon, he picked a black bean. And then at last, it was time for me. My heart was pounding like crazy. I bent over and I did some deep breathing, and the daddy held out that bag to me, and I breathed some more. Okay, Junie B, he said, anytime now. I stood up and I did a gulp. Then very slowly I reached my hand inside. That's her reaching inside the bag. You think she's going to get it? And I felt all around for purple. I wrinkled my eyebrows, kind of curious. I wonder what purple feels like, I said just to myself. Well, the daddy told me to please hurry up. Well, I swished my fingers through the jar some more. Then all of a sudden I felt it, I tell you. I felt purple. I felt it. It was roundish, it was beanish, and it was purplish. Well, I grabbed it real tight. Then I quick pulled out my hand out of the jar, and I opened up my fingers, and guess what? That's the end of chapter 5. Wait to chapter 6.